Even though I have several videos talking about my experience with CareerFoundry and talk about boot camps in almost every video I make, I still get questions every single day asking about my experience with CareerFoundry, how I chose my UX design bootcamp, and what other people should do. Let me break it down for you. What up? Welcome back, guys. If you're new to my channel, hi, I'm Morgan, and I am a digital marketer turned UX designer in the financial services industry. Today, I'm going to talk to you about how I chose CareerFoundry to be the UX design bootcamp that was going to help me transition from digital marketing into UX design. I'm also going to talk about what factors you should consider to decide which bootcamp is right for you. If you don't already know, a bootcamp is basically a dedicated course that is very intense and it's about a specific topic, in this case UX design, and it can range anywhere from a few weeks to a year, and you generally come out of it with a certification. If you've been around for a while, then you know that my opinion is that it really doesn't matter where your UX design certification comes from. What really matters is the knowledge that you gain from your bootcamp and the portfolio that is the base for you to be able to do case studies outside of your bootcamp, because that's really what's going to get you the job, is a good portfolio. And if you go and apply for jobs that are just your bootcamp's portfolio, you may not have the best of luck because you're going to be competing with a bunch of people that have the same portfolio as you if they went to the same bootcamp as you. I also want to include this because I really wish that someone had told me this when I was starting my journey, but I would really try to avoid university boot camps. They're often a lot more expensive than dedicated boot camps, and in my opinion, they're just not as good. From my experience, universities will treat their boot camps or certification programs more like side hustles rather than a business like how dedicated boot camps do. So universities don't really care about student feedback or anything because their business isn't dependent on it. This is a little bit of just sort of like a little bit of, a little thing on the side for them. And dedicated boot camps are generally more affordable, not always. And I do believe that the content and the quality is better than universities just because it is their entire business. They have to take your feedback into consideration because without the students, they have no business. Obviously, do what works best for you. Maybe you know that your local university has a really great program. Maybe you absolutely have to learn in person. Maybe you have some sort of coupon. I don't know. Do what works best for you. I went down that hole of, well, I should go to NYU and do a course there because that would look a lot better than CareerFoundry, when in reality, like, I wound up getting a job with CareerFoundry at like a big company. So I lost a lot of time and money doing university certification courses, and as we know, this channel is all about you guys learning from my mistakes. So anyway, let's get into why I chose CareerFoundry and what factors you should consider to help you determine what bootcamp is right for you. The first thing that I looked for in a bootcamp was flexibility. So I had a job when I first started my bootcamp. I first heard about bootcamps from Chunbuns, and I know that she did General Assembly, and she was mentioning that there were live classes and group work and doing like a real project for a business, I think she said. And I was like, oh, that sounds great, but I'm working and I don't want to drop thousands of dollars on something that I can't commit to. So I started looking for something more flexible, and I came across CareerFoundry. I think that Springboard is also flexible like CareerFoundry, but then the downside of flexibility is that there is no live teaching or direct instruction, which brings me to my next point. How do you like to learn? There's no point in signing up for a bootcamp if you're not going to be able to learn from it. I was okay with self-teaching. That was fine for me. That worked for me. And flexible learning was more important to me than being in a live classroom. But a lot of people need to learn from a live class, and that's fine. So I can't say for certain the structure of other boot camps, but CareerFoundry was a lot of reading, and there were demo videos and stuff. And anytime I had a question, I could just reach out to the Slack community. I also would reach out to my tutor and my mentor. So I still had like personal teaching because we do have a tutor, like student advisors and stuff. It was on my own time And it wasn't like they were teaching it to me. It was more like if I had a question, I could reach out and get an answer. So like I said, I think Springboard is similar to CareerFoundry in its teaching style, but I don't know for sure. Design Lab is self-taught, but you do have like scheduled group crits, which I think is pretty cool. General Assembly is live online classes, as well as I think they started opening up in-person classes. I don't know where, but look into that if that interests you. And then UX Academy is also live online classes. So you should also determine how quickly you want to learn. I saw value in having a longer boot camp. I really didn't think that I could learn any career pivoting information in less than 6 months working part-time and learning part-time, but other people might look for a quicker turnaround than me. I'm also a person who likes to learn a lot from experience. I wanted time to learn and apply things in my own projects outside of the boot camp, and I wanted to learn from mistakes and not feel the pressure of this really harsh deadline. You, however, might thrive under pressure. I know a ton of people who really like the intensity of a class structure that's more like General Assembly, where things are done in a couple of weeks. So CareerFoundry gives you 10 months to complete your bootcamp, and I think they do offer extensions if you get to them in a timely manner. General Assembly, I think, is 10 to 12 weeks. UX Academy is 6 to 8 weeks. Design Lab is 15 to 28 weeks. And Springboard is 6 months. This all obviously depends on how quickly you yourself do the work, so if you're full-time versus part-time. But also you need to remember, just because you finish something sooner does not mean that you're going to get to a job sooner. If you're rushing through work, that is a big mistake. Go watch my video on 8 mistakes to avoid when attending a UX design bootcamp. Might save you a lot of time and money. And of course, you need to take your budget into consideration. I put this last because I think it should matter the least. Hear me out. Unless you have zero preference on how to learn or the length of your bootcamp or anything, and you're just one of those people who can learn under any circumstances, if that's you, then yeah, go for the cheapest one, but that's not the majority of people. I think what's really important is to go for value. In my opinion, it really doesn't matter which one's cheaper if you're not going to learn from it. Then you're going to get no return on your investment and you're going to waste thousands of dollars for nothing. However, if 2 boot camps are close in value to you, maybe they have 1 or 2 differences, but one is like $8K more expensive than the other, I would go with the cheaper one unless money is no object to you. I paid $5,899.50 for my CareerFoundry UX Design Bootcamp. That included the introduction course, the UX immersion, which is the big bulk of it, and a specialization, as well as the job prep course. I had a 5% discount code. You can use mine in the description. I also got an additional 5% off because I did an upfront one-time payment. And then I also got a $1,000 scholarship from having a phone call with representatives. So I looked back at my invoice and it was originally $7,555. And then I got all of those discounts. The price of CareerFoundry has gone up to $7,900 since then. Design Lab is $6,749, but they also seem to have a foundations course. I don't think it's included. So they're kind of vague about it. I'm not really sure how much the total is, but for the, I think, just regular, I'm looking at numbers, just the regular UX design course, it's $6,749 without that foundations course. Springboard is $9,540. General Assembly is $15,950. UX Academy was a little bit more difficult to find their prices because their courses are like chopped up. Like they have the beginner's course and intermediate course and then specialization courses all separated. The price was also originally in pounds and I converted it into USD. So as of February 15th, the price is $1,050 for their beginner course and $1,285 for their intermediate course. They all offer different payment plans, but in general, I advise people in all aspects of life, not just with UX design or bootcamp courses, try not to finance things because it sounds good that you're paying less every month and it's like, oh, well, it's easier to pay $300 a month than it is to pay $3,000 up front. But you end up paying more And it's like, what if something happens next month and you don't have that money? Then you wasted the money from the previous month and you're not going to be able to finish the course. So I really advise people not to finance things just from like a budgeting perspective. I really suggest that you save for it if this is something that you really want and it's not an impulse thing like, oh, I gotta change careers now. Save up for it if you can't afford it right away. Even if it takes like a year, it's really much better just to pay for things up front. Financing it can end badly. I believe that a bootcamp is a great investment. I quadrupled my salary by becoming a UX designer, but it's not worth it at the risk of missing your rent. Obviously, a big push for me to join CareerFoundry was that $1,000 scholarship, but I also really like their job guarantee, which I wound up not even using. I just went and got a job myself. But job guarantees are offered by Design Lab and Springboard as well. Something else that you should consider is specializations. Does that matter to you, or are you just strictly UX? Design Lab seems to have this cool feature where you can sort of personalize your mentor to specialize in whatever you're interested in. I do think it's a little backwards because it's like, if you're new to UX design, how do you know what specialization you're interested in? Which is kind of what I liked about CareerFoundry, is that you wait until you unlock a certain point in the course to decide what specialization you want to do. I chose user interface design, but the options were UI design, front-end development, and voice UI. I actually wound up not finishing the UI design course. I suck. Other things to consider: is mentorship important to you? What about the type of project that you want to work on? Some of those boot camps I mentioned have industrial projects that you could work on. Is that something that interests you? Do you want to work in groups and group projects? Because that would look good in an interview. These are things that you need to consider about what do you think will actually provide value for you. A bootcamp is a big financial and time investment. I really recommend that you hop on calls with representatives to learn about each bootcamp as much as you can, and also see if there's any discounts that they can throw your way. Some of these bootcamps also have trial courses as well as syllabi that you can download, so that way you know what you're getting into and you know what you're going to learn. I'd also read their blogs and check out their YouTube channels to see if you think that they're a valuable source of information. And I get this one a lot, and it's sort of the reason I'm making this video. You can reach out to alumni and learn about their experience with the bootcamp that they chose or the bootcamp that you're interested in. But I made this video, so now you guys don't have to blow up my LinkedIn. If you find yourself interested in CareerFoundry, you feel that it meets your needs, and you want to do the bootcamp, awesome. Only do it if it meets your needs. Don't just do it because you're like, oh, Morgan did it, I'm gonna do it too. You gotta make sure that it meshes with your study style and your personality and everything, as well as your timeline. Just pay attention to all that stuff. But if you do find yourself wanting to join CareerFoundry, please use that 5% discount code in the description. It does help me out. I get a commission from it, so I'd really appreciate that. Let me know in the comments, what boot camps are you considering? Have you selected one? Are you torn between one or the other? Maybe I can help you make a decision, or maybe you already signed up for one. And if you found this video helpful and you want to support me, please like, comment, and subscribe. Go follow me on Instagram at Morgan_UX, and check out my Etsy shop for UX design tools, templates, and outlines. All links will be down below, and I will see you guys in the next one.